In the quietude of an ordinary morning, have you ever wondered why certain sensations seem more intense for you than for others? Why is the sunlight shining through the leaves of trees not just light, but a dance of energy that makes your heart vibrate in harmony? This is not an isolated experience, but the first whisper of an ancestral call that echoes through time. Imagine yourself as a finely tuned harp, where each string resonates not only with physical touch, but with the subtlest vibrations of the universe. This extraordinary sensitivity, which has often been mistaken for fragility, is actually your first gift as a spiritual healer. As Jacobo Grinberg wrote in his studies on consciousness, there exists a holographic matrix that connects all beings, and some individuals are born with a natural ability to tune into this universal network. The journey of the spiritual healer often begins in childhood, in seemingly insignificant moments. Perhaps you were that child who always knew when a friend was sad, even before they said a word. Or maybe you developed a deep connection with nature, feeling the pulsing life in every living being as if it were an extension of your own body. This heightened sensitivity is not a cosmic accident, but a divine calling. As Deepak Chopra observed, sensitivity is the portal through which the universal manifests in the individual. Your ability to feel deeply is the first sign that you have been chosen to be a conduit for the healing energy of the universe. However, in our modern society, this sensitivity is often misunderstood. You may have grown up feeling different, perhaps even overwhelmed by the intense energies you constantly picked up from the environment and people around you. You may have learned to build walls to protect yourself, to dim your light to fit into what was considered normal. But just as a seed that sprouts through concrete in search of sunlight, your true nature cannot be contained indefinitely. The signs keep appearing, vivid dreams laden with symbolic messages, synchronicities that seem more than coincidences, an intuitive understanding of universal truths that transcends acquired knowledge. This extraordinary sensitivity is just the beginning of your journey as a spiritual healer. It is the foundation upon which all other gifts are built. As Eckhart Tolle teaches, conscious presence is the fertile soil where all gifts flourish. Your sensitivity is conscious presence itself in its purest and most natural form. As you begin to embrace this part of your nature, you realize that what once seemed like a vulnerability is actually your greatest strength. The ability to feel deeply not only pain, but also the beauty and magic of life is what allows you to truly connect with those in need of healing. At this moment of awakening, it is crucial to understand that your sensitivity does not need to be moderated or cured. It needs to be honored and cultivated. Like a precious musical instrument, the more you understand and respect it, the more refined your ability to capture the subtle harmonies of the universe becomes. This is just the first step in your journey of awakening as a spiritual healer. In the coming chapters, we will explore how this sensitivity manifests in different aspects of your life, how you can protect and strengthen your energy, and how you can begin to use this gift for the greater good. For now, allow yourself to feel fully. Observe how your body responds to different environments, people, energies. Begin to keep a journal of your subtlest perceptions. Don't judge them. Just observe and be grateful for each sensation, each intuition, each moment of deep connection with the universe. Remember, your sensitivity is not a burden, but a blessing. It is the first portal through which the divine manifests in your life, preparing you for a sacred journey of healing and transformation. When you enter a room and instantly feel the weight of unspoken emotions, when the joys and sorrows of others resonate in your own being as if they were your own, you are experiencing one of the deepest manifestations of the spiritual healer's gift, multidimensional empathy. This is not just the ability to intellectually understand others' feelings, but a form of knowledge that transcends the 5 conventional senses. It is a connection that occurs in what Carl Jung called the collective unconscious, that vast ocean of shared consciousness where all souls meet. As a nascent spiritual healer, your empathy operates on multiple dimensions simultaneously. On the physical level, you may feel others' pains and discomforts in your own body. On the emotional level, others' joys and sorrows find an echo in your heart. On the mental level, you pick up unexpressed thoughts and worries. And on the spiritual level, You perceive energy blockages and unrealized potentials in the people around you. This extraordinary ability to feel on so many dimensions can be overwhelming initially. As Donna Eden observed in her studies on energy, the energy body is like an antenna that picks up signals of all frequencies. For the spiritual healer, this antenna is naturally tuned to maximum sensitivity, but with this sensitivity comes great responsibility. You are not just a passive receiver of the energies around you, you are an active transformer of them. When someone unburdens their pain to you, it is not by chance. Your energy field naturally creates a safe space where people feel understood and accepted on a deep level. The multidimensional empathy of the spiritual healer goes beyond simple understanding. It carries within it a transformative power. When you truly feel the other, you create a field of resonance where healing can happen naturally. As Martin Buber taught, it is in the sacred space of the I-Thou that the miracles of transformation occur. This gift also brings unique challenges. You may find yourself unconsciously absorbing the heavy energies of others, carrying burdens that are not yours. It is crucial to develop discernment to distinguish between conscious empathy and unconscious absorption. As Caroline Myss teaches, your sensitivity is your strength, but your boundaries are your protection. Learning to establish healthy boundaries is an essential part of the spiritual healer's development. This doesn't mean diminishing your empathy, but rather directing it consciously and protectively. Imagine yourself as a lighthouse. Your light shines constantly, offering guidance and hope, but remains firmly anchored in its base. The practice of self-observation is fundamental in this process. Begin to notice how different people and environments affect your energy field. Learn to recognize when you are absorbing others' energy and develop techniques to cleanse and rebalance your own field. Meditation, connection with nature, and grounding practices are valuable tools in this process. Your multidimensional empathy is a sacred gift that can bring profound healing not only to others, but also to yourself. As you learn to navigate these deep waters of shared consciousness, you will discover that your sensitivity is actually a portal to a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of all things. In our journey as spiritual healers, we often focus so much on the ethereal and subtle aspects that we may forget our first and most sacred healing tool, the physical body itself. As Thich Nhat Hanh teaches, awareness of the body is the door to the present moment. It is through this sacred temple that we channel the healing energies of the universe. The body of the spiritual healer is not just a passive vessel, but a refined instrument of perception and transmutation. Each cell carries an ancestral wisdom, a memory that transcends linear time. As Candace Pert observed in her revolutionary studies, our body is a living network of chemical and energetic information, where each molecule of emotion affects every aspect of our physiology. This understanding leads us to a fundamental truth. The work of healing begins with our own physical incarnation, how we inhabit our body, how we move through space, how we breathe and nourish ourselves. All of this affects our ability to serve as channels of healing for others. The concept of the body temple is not just a poetic metaphor, but an energetic reality. Just as a sacred temple is carefully built and maintained to sustain elevated frequencies of energy, our physical body requires conscious attention and reverent care. Each self-care ritual, be it a mindful bath, a yoga practice, or a walk in nature, is a way of honoring and strengthening this living temple. Conscious breathing is one of the first and most powerful tools of the healer. As Paramahansa Yogananda taught, breath is the thread that ties the soul to the body. When you learn to breathe consciously, you are not just oxygenating your cells, you are literally weaving a more refined energy field around you. The ancient Taoist masters understood the body as a sacred landscape, with its own valleys, mountains, and rivers of energy. The meridians, studied for millennia by traditional Chinese medicine, are like rivers of light that flow through our being. As a spiritual healer, you naturally develop a sensitivity to these subtle flows. Posture also carries a deep wisdom. When you align yourself with the gravity of the earth and the light of heaven, your body becomes a natural conductor of healing energy. As Ida Rolf observed, gravity is the therapist. This understanding leads us to more conscious movements, to a presence more rooted in our own being. The nervous system of the spiritual healer is particularly refined, capable of registering the subtlest variations of energy. This can be both a blessing and a challenge. It is crucial to learn to modulate this sensitive system through regular self-regulation practices. Meditation, conscious touch, gentle movement, and connection with nature are essential tools in this process. Nutrition also takes on a new dimension when understood through the lens of spiritual healing. Each food carries not only physical nutrients, but also a unique energetic signature. As Anne Wigmore taught, food is our best medicine. The conscious choice of what we introduce into our body temple directly affects our ability to serve as instruments of healing. Sleep and rest gain a sacred importance on this journey. It is during moments of deep rest that our body performs its most subtle work of regeneration and rebalancing. As a spiritual healer, you learn to honor these natural cycles of activity and rest, understanding that your effectiveness as a channel of healing is directly related to your capacity for regeneration. Sacred sexuality is also an important aspect of this journey. Sexual energy, when understood and consciously directed, is a powerful force for healing and transformation. As Mantak Chia taught, this vital energy can be refined and elevated to sustain higher states of consciousness and healing capacity. Working with the body also includes understanding and releasing traumas stored in the tissues. As Peter Levine demonstrated in his studies on trauma, the body keeps the score of unprocessed experiences. As a healer, you develop a sensitivity to recognize and assist in the release of these energy blockages, both in yourself and in others. The regular practice of sacred body rituals, whether through dance, yoga, qigong, or other forms of conscious movement, is not just a form of physical maintenance, but a path of spiritual evolution. Each conscious movement is a prayer, each breath a blessing, each moment of bodily presence an opportunity for connection with the divine. As you deepen your connection with your body temple, you will discover that it is much more than a physical vehicle. It is a microcosm of the universe itself, a living portal through which healing energies can flow freely. This is the true meaning of embodying the sacred, recognizing and honoring the divinity that pulses in every cell of our being. In the Hermetic tradition, there is a fundamental principle known as above, so below. For the spiritual healer, this principle manifests in the understanding that the subtle energies that permeate the universe are the same ones that flow through our being. We are all natural alchemists, constantly transforming and transmuting different forms of energy. Spiritual alchemy is not an abstract concept, but a living practice that occurs every moment we consciously open ourselves to be channels of healing. As Barbara Brennan taught, each human being exists simultaneously in multiple energetic dimensions, each with its own specific characteristics and purposes. The first step in this alchemical journey is to develop the ability to discern different qualities of energy. Just as a musician trains their ear to recognize the subtlest nuances of tone and harmony, the spiritual healer refines their sensitivity to perceive the different vibratory frequencies that make up the tapestry of reality. There are dense and heavy energies, often associated with traumas, fears, and emotional blockages. There are lighter and more expansive energies, connected to elevated states of consciousness and transcendent experiences. And there is a whole spectrum of frequencies between these extremes. As Donna Eden observed, energy follows thought, but it also follows natural patterns of flow that can be learned and consciously used. Working with colors is one of the most accessible ways to begin understanding and manipulating subtle energies. Each color carries a specific frequency and can be used for different healing purposes. Violet, for example, has a transmuting and purifying quality. Green carries the energy of balance and healing. Gold connects with universal wisdom and Christ, consciousness. Sounds and vibrations are also powerful tools in energetic alchemy. Mantras, harmonic tones, even the sound of a person's own name. All of this can be used to alter and refine energy fields. As Jonathan Goldman demonstrated in his studies on sound healing, intention combined with frequency creates a powerful tool for transformation. Conscious breathing is another crucial element in this alchemy. Through breathing, we can not only absorb different qualities of energy, but also transmute them. The pranayama technique known as fire breath is a perfect example of how we can use breathing to transform dense energies into higher frequencies. Working with crystals offers another dimension to energetic alchemy. Each crystal has its own vibrational signature and can be used as an amplifier or transformer of energy. As Marcel Vogel taught, crystals are not just passive tools, but active collaborators in the healing process. Understanding chakras and subtle bodies adds another layer of depth to this work. Each chakra operates at a specific frequency and is connected to different aspects of our physical, emotional, and spiritual experience. Learning to work with this energy system is like learning to play a multidimensional instrument. A crucial aspect of energetic alchemy is understanding that we are not just working with external energies, but also with our own vital force. As Mantak Chia taught, we can learn to cultivate, refine, and circulate our own vital energy through specific practices. This internal cultivation is fundamental to our effectiveness as healers. Working with natural elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, offers another set of tools for energetic alchemy. Each element carries specific qualities that can be invoked and used in the healing process. Water, for example, has a natural power of cleansing and transmutation. Fire can be used for purification and transformation. The moon and natural cycles also profoundly influence our work with subtle energies. Different lunar phases offer different energetic qualities that can be consciously harnessed in our healing work. As Miranda Gray observed, our own energy cycles are intimately connected with the rhythms of nature. An often neglected aspect of energetic alchemy is the role of joy and pleasure. As Wilhelm Reich taught, the free flow of vital energy is directly connected to our capacity to experience genuine pleasure and joy. Laughter, dance, sacred ecstasy, all are powerful catalysts for energetic transmutation. Working with symbols and sacred geometry adds another dimension to our understanding of energetic alchemy. Each symbol is a living code that can activate different qualities of consciousness and energy. The flower of life, the Sri Yantra, the cross, each of these symbols acts as a key that can open specific portals of consciousness and healing. As you deepen your understanding of energetic alchemy, you will discover that there is not really a separation between different types of energy. There is only energy in different states of manifestation. As a spiritual healer, your role is to serve as a conscious conductor for these transformations, allowing higher frequencies to manifest through your being for the benefit of all. At the heart of all true healing resides a sacred space of silence, not the superficial silence of mere absence of sound, but that deep and alive silence that Rumi described as the language of God. For the spiritual healer, learning to inhabit, this silence is as essential as breathing. In our modern society, saturated with constant noise and distractions, cultivating inner silence has become both an art and a necessity. As Thomas Merton observed, silence is not an absence, but a presence. It is in this silence that we find our true nature as channels of divine healing. The practice of conscious presence begins with the simple act of pausing. As Thich Nhat Hanh taught, peace is in every step. When we learn to pause, truly pause, we create a space where deeper wisdom can emerge. This pause is not an escape from life, but a deeper dive into its essence. Silence has its own qualities and textures. There's the welcoming silence of dawn, the reverent silence of an ancient forest, the intimate silence that arises between two people in deep connection. As a spiritual healer, you learn to recognize and work with these different qualities of silence, each offering its own medicine. Conscious presence is more than a practice, it's a state of being. As Eckhart Tolle taught, presence is when you are so totally here that nothing of the future or the past pollutes this moment. This quality of presence creates an energetic field where healing can happen naturally, without effort. Silence teaches us to listen at a deeper level, not just with our ears, but with our entire being. We begin to hear the unspoken in people's words, the coded messages in their gestures, the silent pulsing of their hearts. As Rachel Naomi Riemann observed, silence is where healing begins. The practice of silence also teaches us about the natural rhythms of giving and receiving. Just as breath has its inhalation and exhalation, healing work has its moments of action and receptivity. In silence, we learn to trust these rhythms, to not force or resist the natural flow of healing energy. A crucial aspect of this practice is developing what Buddhists call beginner's mind. In silence, we set aside our assumptions, our judgments, our expectations about how healing should happen. As Shunryu Suzuki taught, in the beginner's mind there are many possibilities. In the beginner's mind there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind there are few. Silence also teaches us about the nature of space. Just as the pauses between notes are essential to music, moments of silence are crucial in the healing process. It is in these spaces that integration happens, that changes settle, that the deepest transformations take root. Conscious presence connects us with what mystics call the eternal now. In this state, chronological time dissolves, and we enter a timeless field where healing operates on multiple levels simultaneously. As Carl Jung observed, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact between two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Silence teaches us about the nature of true compassion, not compassion that arises from the desire to fix or change the other, but that which is born from the capacity to be fully present with what is. As Stephen Levine taught, compassion is the ability to be present with suffering without being consumed by it. The practice of silence also reveals to us the illusory nature of many of our struggles. In silence, we see how often we resist the natural flow of life, how we create unnecessary suffering through our need to control, fix, or understand everything. As Adyashanti said, silence is the end of all resistance. For the spiritual healer, cultivating inner silence is not an escape from the world, but a deeper form of engagement with it. It is in silence that we find the clarity to discern when to act and when to wait, when to speak and when to simply be present. Silence also teaches us about the nature of true power, not the power that dominates or controls, but that which arises from complete surrender to the present moment. As Marianne Williamson taught, our deepest power is the ability to surrender to the divine presence within us. As we deepen our practice of silence and presence, we discover that the deepest healing happens not through what we do, but through what we allow. We become increasingly pure vessels for divine energy to flow, trusting that universal intelligence knows exactly what each being needs for their highest good. In every spiritual tradition, we find a fundamental truth. The universe communicates through symbols. For the spiritual healer, learning to read and interpret this universal language is not just a skill, it is a portal to a deeper understanding of reality and the healing process. Carl Jung dedicated much of his life to the study of symbols and archetypes, demonstrating how they emerge from the collective unconscious to guide us in our journey of individuation. As spiritual healers, we become fluent in this ancient and ever-present language, recognizing that each symbol is a door to deeper dimensions of meaning and healing. Symbols are not mere abstract representations. They are living bridges between the visible and the invisible, between the manifest and the unmanifest. As Joseph Campbell taught, symbols are the language of the soul. They speak directly to our deepest being, transcending the limitations of linear thought and common language. In our practice as healers, symbols appear in countless forms. In our clients' dreams, in the synchronicities that punctuate our days, in the patterns we observe in nature, in the images that spontaneously arise during healing sessions. Each symbolic appearance is an invitation to a deeper dialogue with the mystery. Sacred geometry offers us a particularly powerful set of symbols to work with. The Vesica Piscis, the flower of life, the golden spiral. Each of these geometric patterns contains codes of harmony and balance that can be consciously used in healing work. As Drunvalo Melchizedek observed, these forms are not just beautiful, they are living expressions of the fundamental laws of the universe. Numbers also carry deep symbolic meanings. Numerology is not just a system of divination, but a language that helps us understand the vibratory patterns underlying reality. Each number has its own energetic quality, its own personality and purpose in the grand design of life. Synchronicities, those seemingly coincidental but meaning-laden moments, are another way the universe communicates through symbols. As Jung defined, they are meaningful coincidences that reveal to us the interconnected nature of reality. For the spiritual healer, these synchronicities are signs on the path, confirmations that we are aligned with the divine flow. Animals often appear as symbolic messengers on our journey. Whether through physical encounters or in dreams and visions, each animal carries a specific medicine, a lesson or quality that we need to integrate into our healing work. As shamanic traditions teach, animals are our older brothers, masters, who guide us on the path of self-knowledge and healing. Colors are also powerful symbols in healing work. Each color vibrates at a specific frequency and can be used to activate different aspects of healing and transformation. The violet of transmutation, the green of heart healing, the gold of divine wisdom. Each color is a key that opens specific portals of consciousness. The natural elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, are universal symbols that we find in virtually all spiritual traditions. Working consciously with these elements helps us restore balance at all levels of being. As Paracelsus taught, disease is essentially an elemental imbalance, and healing comes through restoring harmony among the elements. Symbols also appear in our own physical structure. The chakras, for example, are energy centers that can be understood as living symbols, each representing different aspects of our consciousness and spiritual development. As Caroline Myss observed, our body is a symbolic map of our spiritual journey. Plants and crystals also speak to us through their symbolic language. The shape of a leaf, the growth pattern of a crystal, the way a plant moves towards light. All of this carries symbolic messages that we can learn to read and integrate into our healing work. A crucial aspect of working with symbols is understanding that they are dynamic and alive, not static. The same symbol can have different meanings depending on the context and moment. As healers, we develop the sensitivity to discern which aspect of the symbol is active in each situation. Mandalas are particularly powerful as symbolic healing tools. As Carl Jung taught, creating or contemplating mandalas helps us access and integrate deeper aspects of our psyche. Each mandala is a map of the cosmos, a sacred diagram that helps us find our center amidst apparent chaos. Working with symbols also teaches us about the holographic nature of reality. As David Bohm observed, each part contains the whole, and each symbol, no matter how simple it may seem, can open us to a deeper understanding of the totality of existence. As we deepen our understanding of the language of symbols, we discover that the entire universe is, essentially, symbolic. Each experience, each encounter, each challenge in our journey as healers is a living symbol, inviting us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the sacred mystery of life. At the center of all true healing pulses, the sacred heart, not just the physical organ that pumps blood through our body, but the spiritual heart that mystics of all traditions recognize as the true center of being. As Rumi taught, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right-doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. This field is the space of the heart where all dualities dissolve and where we find the purest essence of unconditional love. For the spiritual healer, the path of the heart is not just a poetic metaphor, but a living practice and a tangible reality that permeates every aspect of their work. The heart, as the HeartMath Institute has shown through its revolutionary research, generates the largest electromagnetic field of the human body, much more powerful than that of the brain. This field not only influences our own well-being, but directly affects those around us. As healers, we learn to consciously cultivate and amplify this heart field. The unconditional love that flows through the open heart has a unique quality. It does not judge, it does not demand, it has no agenda. As Ram Dass observed, love is what's left when you let go of everything that isn't love. This quality of love is the true healing force that operates through the spiritual healer. On the path of the heart, we discover that vulnerability is not weakness, but strength. As Brené Brown taught, it is through our willingness to be truly vulnerable that we find our deepest connection with others and with life. For the healer, This conscious vulnerability creates a sacred space where healing can happen naturally. The heart has its own intelligence, its own way of knowing that transcends the linear logic of the mind. The Sufis call this knowledge of the heart, a form of direct and intuitive understanding that connects us with the essential truth of each situation. As healers, we learn to trust and follow this wisdom of the heart. The practice of radical compassion is a fundamental aspect of the path of the heart. This is not a sentimental or superficial compassion, but one that is born from a deep understanding of the interconnection of all beings. As the Dalai Lama taught, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. Forgiveness emerges naturally when we walk the path of the heart, not as an act of will or moral duty, but as a natural release that happens when we see through the eyes of love. As A Course in Miracles observed, the miracle is forgiveness that allows love to be what it always was. Gratitude also flourishes in the fertile soil of the open heart, not just gratitude for the good things in life, but a deep gratitude that embraces the entire human experience as an opportunity for growth and transformation. As Brother David Steindl-Rast taught, in every moment, we have something to be grateful for. Working with the heart teaches us about the nature of true power, not power over others, but power with and through love. As Marianne Williamson observed, the power of love is greater than the love of power. This is the type of power that the spiritual healer cultivates and channels. The practice of Hawaiian Ho'oponopono offers us a powerful tool for working with the heart. The 4 simple phrases, "I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you," are a portal to deep healing through love and reconciliation. As Haleakala Hugh Len taught, when we heal our own heart, we heal the world. The path of the heart also teaches us about the importance of self-compassion. How can we offer true healing to others if we do not know how to embrace our own wounds? With love. As Kristin Neff taught, self-compassion is the necessary foundation for authentic compassion for others. The practice of loving presence is a crucial aspect of the healer's work. This means being fully present with what is, without trying to change or fix, simply offering the sacred space of the heart where healing can happen naturally. As Mother Teresa said, "Do not look for big things to do. Do small things with great love." The heart also teaches us about the natural rhythms of giving and receiving. As healers, we learn to keep our heart open both to give and to receive, recognizing that both are equally sacred aspects of the flow of universal love. As Thich Nhat Hanh taught, love is the capacity to be present with joy. As we deepen our journey on the path of the heart, we discover that there is really no separation between the healer and the one seeking healing. There is only the one heart, pulsing through all forms and expressions of life. This is the deepest realization of the spiritual healer, that all healing work is essentially an act of love recognizing itself through all apparent separations. We have reached the point in our journey where the individual and the collective meet, where personal healing and planetary transformation reveal themselves as aspects of the same sacred movement. As Pierre Teilhard de Chardin taught, we are all connected in a noosphere, a living network of consciousness that envelops the planet. This is a unique moment in human history, a moment that the ancients prophesied and that mystics foresaw. A time of great collective awakening, where more and more people are feeling the call to awaken to their true nature. As spiritual healers, we have a unique and essential role in this process of planetary transformation. Rupert Sheldrake's theory of morphogenetic fields helps us understand how our individual consciousness affects and is affected by the collective field. Each time a healer awakens to their true nature, each time a deep healing occurs, the collective field is strengthened and expanded. As Margaret Mead wrote, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." The concept of critical mass is particularly relevant at this time. Studies in quantum, physics and collective consciousness suggest that when a certain number of individuals reach an elevated state of consciousness, it creates a cascade effect that facilitates the awakening of others. As healers, each healing session, each moment of conscious presence contributes to this collective transformation. Barbara Marx Hubbard spoke about the concept of conscious evolution, the idea that we have reached a point in our evolution where we can consciously participate in the evolutionary process. As spiritual healers, we are an integral part of this conscious evolution, helping to facilitate the transition to a new paradigm based on unity and love. The ancient Hopi prophecy speaks of this time as the Great Turning, a period of intense transformation where humanity has the opportunity to choose a new path. As healers, our work is not just to heal individuals, but to help facilitate this great collective transformation through our conscious presence and unconditional love. Joanna Macy developed the concept of the work that reconnects, an approach that recognizes the deep interconnection between our personal healing and the healing of the planet. As healers, we begin to see that each act of individual healing reverberates through the web of life, contributing to the healing of the whole. The indigenous concept of medicine for the earth reminds us that our healing work is not limited to human beings. The earth herself is in a process of profound transformation, and as healers, we are called to consciously participate in this process. As Sandra Ingerman taught, we can become transmuters, beings capable of transforming dense energy into light through our conscious presence. Synchronicity and interconnection become increasingly evident as we open ourselves to this collective dimension of our work. We begin to see how we are guided to the right people at the right time, how each encounter is orchestrated by a greater intelligence working through us for the greater good. The Buddhist concept of bodhisattva, one who dedicates their life to the liberation of all beings, takes on new meaning in this context. As spiritual healers, we naturally align ourselves with this ideal, recognizing that our own liberation is intrinsically linked to the liberation of all. Quantum physics offers us valuable insights into the interconnected nature of reality and the role of consciousness in creating reality. As Amit Goswami observed, consciousness is not a product of matter, but the fundamental basis of reality. As healers, we work directly with this unified field of consciousness. The concept of morphic resonance fields helps us understand how our individual healing work contributes to a collective field of healing. Each time we facilitate a deep healing, we strengthen this field, making it easier for others to access elevated states of consciousness and healing. The internet and modern technology can be seen as physical manifestations of this growing interconnection of human consciousness. As healers, we can consciously use these tools to expand our reach and contribute to the global network of healing and transformation. Teilhard de Chardin's concept of the noosphere, a sphere of human consciousness that envelops the planet, is becoming a tangible reality. As healers, we are active participants in the evolution of this collective consciousness, helping to elevate its frequency through our healing work. As we approach the end of this journey, it's important to remember that this is not really an end, but a new beginning. The awakening of the spiritual healer is an ongoing process, an eternal dance between the individual and the collective, between the personal and the universal. As spiritual healers at this crucial moment in human history, we are called to a great responsibility and a great privilege. Our work is not just about individual healing, but about consciously participating in the great planetary transformation that is occurring. This is the true meaning of being a spiritual healer at this time, to be a conscious channel for the evolution of consciousness, a facilitator of the great collective awakening that is occurring. As Rumi wrote, "What you seek is seeking you." The call we feel is the universe inviting us to participate in this great dance of transformation and rebirth.